and we're going to open the primer. So this next one is a big enough topic that combining it with the current solution was a little bit much. And so we're going to do a primer first, and then we'll have you go into the final exercise, or into integrating the concept with the rest of the component. And so we'll do this like a normal exercise. We'll do the primer, and then I'll do the solution so you can ask any questions. Then we'll let you combine it with the existing toggle component. But yeah, so this is vastly simplified. It's not using render props. It's not using the state reducer. It's rendering its own thing. But let's talk really quick about what this thing even is, why we even care about it. So if we go to this, our objective is to get two totally separate components to synchronize their state. And so in the exercise, they're not synchronizing, which is sad. So the way that this works from a user standpoint is we have this usage, and we have this both on property. And in here, whenever one of these things toggles, we call handle toggle, and it'll set both on to whatever the value is. So I click on this one, it turns them both on. I click on this one, it turns them both off. So whichever one changed most recently is the state for both of them. Yeah, ignore the toggle ref stuff. This is just stuff for my for the test, so implementation details for the test. But the key difference here between the existing toggle component is that we now have an on prop. And this is the control prop. So how many people are familiar with controlled inputs or controlled form elements? Okay, great. This is it. That's what it is. We're implementing that pattern here. So if you add a value property to an input, you get an error message in the console. Okay, what does that say? Like, you don't have to say it verbatim. I know I've memorized all the error messages, but you don't have to. Just kidding. No, it says you're controlling an input, but not providing an on change, so it's read only. The value will never change. The user can type in it as much as they want. Nothing's going to happen because you've taken control of the value of that input. And so that's, and then the on-change prop is there to make suggestions to you to say, hey, based off of the way my inner workings work, how I update my state when I'm in control, this is what I'd suggest you update your state to be. But you do whatever you want to. So you can uppercase the string. You can do whatever else you want to do with that. That's what we're implementing for the toggle component. We say, hey, so I control this on state internally. And whenever whenever the user clicks on that toggle or that switch, I update that on state to be the opposite of what it was before. So that's what I would do, but you can do whatever you want with that. And so in our case, whatever we want is to update this, like when this handle toggle is called, we update it to be whatever that is, and then we re-render it to have the state we want it to. So like in Angular 1 land, this would be like two-way binding, and that was the demo that like caught us all. We're like, oh my goodness, like that wasn't even any code. That was just like template stuff. So this is like implementing two-way binding in this particular example, but allowing for this this prop to be passed to control that state. So let's go ahead and take a look at the implementation and get this written out. You're going to add a function called isOnControlled. You're going to add a function called getState, because now state can either come from props or it can come from state. It's going to come from one or the other, not both. Do not try to synchronize state and props. It's not a good idea. Just get it from one or the other. And then inside of toggle, if it's controlled, then you should just call onToggle. Don't try to call setState, because you don't need to set state if it's controlled. Like, you're not managing it yourself anyway. Could cause an unnecessary re-render. And then if it's not controlled, then we just keep doing what we've always been doing. And then here you want to get state from the getState method, because now that state can come from props or state. So, okay, I'll let you off on that. We'll run npm t and swap these two in here. By the way, the tests that you find in this repo, some of them are good tests and some of them are very bad tests. And I would never recommend that you write tests like this for your React components, because lots of these are testing implementation details because I'm testing your implementation, right? So come to my workshops in the next couple days to learn more about that. But I forgot to mention that, because some people are going to be like, oh, this is how I should test stuff. No, please don't.